This is Matt for Into Boxing. Delighted to be joined by a very happy Shane Watson. Shane, I'm not going to lie to you, I've never seen anything like what I've seen in there tonight. Joe Joyce is an absolute machine. You must be elated. Talk to me, how are you feeling? How pleased are you with Joe's performance?
Absolutely exhausted, emotional. It's been a long training camp, man. Back-to-back camps for Hammer in Vegas. Obviously, always watching Joe Joyce is a little bit nerve-wracking because he does get caught sometimes, but what a performance. Most underrated jab I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. Not ever seen, but most underrated jab in boxing right now. That jab is unbelievable. Catching someone with the head movement of Parker and the feet of Parker like that so often with the jab. I mean, look at the state of Parker's face. It looked like he might have a car crash. But over the moon, ecstatic, all kinds of things right now. But also I want to give massive respect and credit to Joseph Parker. What a tough man. There's not any other heavyweight in the world that have been able to have taken that punishment for that long. So credit to him and credit to his team as well.
Yeah, let's just speak about Joseph Parker. He didn't give him once, he just simply couldn't make the count of 10. But when we talk about Joe Joyce, nobody does that to Joseph Parker. He's been knocked down before, yeah, but he's got back up. But he took a lot of shots in there tonight. His eye popped at one point. I think that was for a punch, not a head clash. How impressive was Joe tonight? Did he show more than what he normally does? Did we see more of his boxing ability tonight, as well as that steely determination and that grit that he shows?
Yeah, I mean, I actually expected that performance from Joe because in Vegas he was doing that to sparring partners, and I knew if he could do that in the ring on Fight Night, which I knew he could, that was the kind of performance we was expecting. But you know what? I don't feel like I'm being disrespectful even saying it, man. I've got so much respect for Parker. I did before anyway. There's only a bit of tongue-in-cheek on Fight Week, but one of his team members didn't agree with that in the ring after the fight, but that happens. But it's emotional, there's a lot of shit going on in that, but what a performance, what a fight. And I want to see Parker back in there, man. I want to see him in there with Daniel Dubois. I want to see him back in there with Dylan White, because he's still at that level with these guys. He just came up against an exceptional Joe Joyce today. So hopefully we get to see Parker back in those fights.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I think we could look at the likes of Parker going in with the likes of a Deontay Wilder who's just coming back. I mean, it's a great fight, isn't it?
Superb fight. I don't think Deontay Wilder will want to take that fight, because as much as he's got that one shot, Parker's fucking good, man. His jab is good. He's working well early rounds as well, but he couldn't deal with the pace. But Wilder hasn't got an engine to put it on someone like Parker like that, because he gasses a lot as well. Yeah. So that's a great fight. Even all these guys that are coming off of losses, yeah, they can all fight each other in great fights still. Like Parker, the only one I don't think anyone would really be interested in is AJ, because that fight wasn't close the first time. But Parker against all those other guys, it's still a great fight. So.
But seeing how Parker fought tonight and how he fought in Chisora 2 under Andy Lee, no matter if he lost tonight, because let's be honest, he beat a lot of people tonight, he'd just come up against Joe. If he went in there with the likes of AJ now, who's coming off the back of 2 losses, could that rematch be any different if he performed like he did in there tonight?
I think after that kind of a fight, you need a long rest. He took a lot of punishment in there, and I think he should have a confidence booster against a guy maybe like Christian Hammer or someone, a confidence booster, because that can set you a bit lower, like a defeat like that. He's never been beaten like that before. So I would advise a tune-up would be good for him, and then he could look at one of those guys. But listen, he knows a lot better than I do. He's a world-level fighter, I'm not, so.
Right, talks about Joe Joyce's next move. Obviously, we know belts are tied up. We don't know what's going to happen with Fury Joshua, but everyone's assuming that fight's probably not going to get made. And there's a lot of talk of what's the guy's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. You know it is, don't you?
For Joyce?
No, for Tyson Fury. German. There's a talk of an opponent being ready that I've heard.
If it's Manuel Charr, man. I know
that's the one. Emmanuel.
I called it 4 months ago, man. When they started doing these weird little posts, Tyson Fury starts doing these little call-outs months and months before he's going to fight them, and then they'll use the anti-Joshua fight as a distraction to make it look like they were going to fight Joshua, and they never were.
So do you not think Tyson Fury wants this Joshua fight?
I mean, I think Fury would fight anyone. He's a fighting man, but did the team really want to make that at short notice with no real time to promote it, not sell it to Saudi and have it in Principality? Got to be realistic. They've tried to make that fight for years and couldn't make it. They're not going to make it in a couple of weeks, are they? There's a lot of problems there. You've got TV networks, you've got promoters, you've got undercards, you've got purses. Even though they say terms agreed, that's just the start of all the problems. So, believe me. But he'll fight Manuel Charr. But listen, if he's looking for an opponent, Joe Joyce is ready for December 3rd. So.
Oh, wow. I think that's something everyone would love to see. If it's not going to be Tyson Fury, though, what's next for Joe Joyce? He's interim world heavyweight champion, deservedly so. He earned that belt tonight. Joe Parker weren't going to go anywhere. But what is next for Joe Joyce?
I think he has to see how it all fizzles out. I mean, a lot can happen. If the way the interim status works, it should get called by March 24th. Obviously, Undisputed takes over that, if that happens. If not, we'll fight Usyk, and Joe will do the exact same as what he did to Parker. He's do to Usyk. So That's the fight we want. We don't want to, because if he vacates, we get elevated to full champion, and obviously we would rather beat the champion and become the proper champion. But off a performance like that tonight, I don't think anyone could really write him off for being world heavyweight champion either. So
if he fights Alexander Usyk, what happens?
Exact same. Usyk was allowed to take rounds off against AJ both times. That man don't let you take rounds off. And you know what? People got to give his boxing ability a bit of credit now, man. Like, he's way better than what people give him credit for. So, do you know what? But I don't want to disrespect Usyk. That's a very, very, very tough fight. And that's the toughest fight in that division for Joe Joyce, but it's one that we believe he can win.
Shane Watson, appreciate your time. Congratulations on an epic night. And we hope to see you again at the next big fight.
Top man. Thanks so much, mate.